The Haunted Secrets of Dublin Castle, Ireland's most terrifying ghost stories. The heart of Dublin has stood for centuries, watching kingdoms rise, wars unfold, and countless lives disappear into history. Millions of tourists walk through its magnificent halls every year, admiring the beautiful architecture and rich heritage. But when darkness falls and the final footsteps fade away, another side of Dublin Castle awakens. Security guards have reported hearing footsteps echoing through empty corridors. Visitors have described sudden freezing temperatures, whispers in deserted rooms, and shadowy figures watching from ancient windows. Some believe the castle is not merely old, it remembers everyone who ever suffered within its walls. Tonight, we uncover the terrifying legends that continue to haunt one of Ireland's most famous landmarks. Dublin Castle was originally built by the Normans in the early 13th century on the site of an earlier Viking settlement known as Dublin, meaning Black Pool. For over 700 years, it served as the centre of British rule in Ireland. While kings and nobles celebrated within its grand halls, countless prisoners, rebels, and innocent victims experienced unimaginable suffering behind its stone walls. Executions, interrogations, betrayals, and political conspiracies became part of the castle's dark history. Many paranormal investigators believe that intense human suffering can leave a permanent imprint on a place, creating an environment where spirits refuse to move on. One of the castle's most chilling legends revolves around the mysterious black pool that once lay beneath its foundations. Long before the castle existed, this deep, dark pool was feared by local villagers. Ancient Celtic folklore claimed it was cursed, a place where evil spirits emerged after sunset. Some believed the water served as a gateway between the world of the living and the dead. Although the pool was eventually buried beneath the expanding city, many believe its dark energy never disappeared. Strange cold spots continue to be reported near the castle's oldest foundations, as if something buried below still refuses to sleep. Perhaps the most terrifying story associated with Dublin Castle is the legend of the Headless Soldier. During Ireland's turbulent past, many soldiers lost their lives defending or attacking the fortress. According to witnesses, a ghostly figure wearing an old military uniform has been seen silently walking the castle grounds during quiet nights. What makes the apparition especially horrifying is that it has no head. Guards have claimed they first notice heavy marching footsteps before seeing the pale figure emerge from the darkness. Without making a sound, it slowly disappears through solid stone walls, leaving behind an unbearable feeling of dread. Another famous spirit is believed to be that of a young woman dressed in white. Her identity remains unknown, though several theories attempt to explain her tragic fate. Some historians believe she was connected to an influential family living within the castle. Others claim she was imprisoned after being falsely accused of treason. Visitors have reported seeing her standing near old windows, staring silently toward the city beyond the castle walls. When approached, she fades away like mist. Witnesses often describe overwhelming sadness immediately after the encounter, as though they briefly shared her endless grief. The Chapel Royal inside Dublin Castle has also become the center of numerous paranormal reports. Although admired for its stunning Gothic Revival architecture, some visitors describe feeling intensely uncomfortable while entering the building. Several have reported hearing soft whispers during complete silence. Others claim they heard footsteps behind them despite being completely alone. Paranormal researchers suggest that the chapel may contain residual energy from centuries of royal ceremonies, funerals, and political events that unfolded within its sacred walls. The underground passages beneath Dublin Castle remain one of its greatest mysteries. Over the centuries, hidden tunnels connected the castle to other important locations throughout Dublin. While many passages have been sealed, legends insist that unexplored sections still exist beneath the city. Maintenance workers have reportedly heard distant voices echoing through empty tunnels where no one could possibly be present. Others have described seeing moving lights deep underground before they suddenly vanished. Some believe restless spirits still wander these forgotten corridors, trapped between history and eternity. One incident frequently discussed among paranormal enthusiasts involved a security guard working the night shift. While performing his routine patrol, he noticed an old wooden door standing slightly open. Certain he had locked it earlier, he walked over to close it. Before reaching the doorway, he heard what sounded like quiet crying coming from inside. Believing someone had entered the restricted area, he called out several times. The crying immediately stopped. He stepped into the room only to discover it completely empty. As he turned to leave, the heavy door slammed shut behind him with tremendous force. Moments later, CCTV footage reportedly showed the guard running from the room in visible panic. No one else appeared on the recording. Another disturbing account comes from a restoration worker assigned to inspect one of the castle's oldest rooms. While taking measurements, he noticed a figure standing in the corner wearing outdated clothing from centuries ago. Assuming another employee had entered unnoticed, he greeted the stranger. The figure slowly turned toward him, revealing an unnaturally pale face with empty, lifeless eyes. Before the worker could react, the apparition vanished instantly. He reportedly refused to continue working in that section of the castle and never returned. Tour guides occasionally mention an unusual phenomenon experienced by visitors. Some people taking photographs inside Dublin Castle later discover unexplained shadows, transparent figures, or strange faces appearing in their pictures. Others report electronic devices suddenly malfunctioning without explanation. Batteries drain unusually fast, cameras freeze, and audio recordings capture faint voices that were never heard during the visit itself. While skeptics blame technical errors, believers see these incidents as evidence that unseen residents still occupy the castle. One of the most unsettling experiences involves the castle's grand state apartments. These elegant rooms once hosted monarchs, political leaders, and lavish ceremonies. Yet after sunset, employees have reported hearing chairs scraping across empty floors, distant conversations behind locked doors, and chandeliers gently swaying despite completely still air. Some cleaners have claimed they refuse to work alone after dark because they constantly feel watched by invisible eyes. Paranormal investigators who have explored Dublin Castle often describe an overwhelming emotional atmosphere unlike anywhere else in Ireland. During investigations, electronic voice phenomena recordings have captured mysterious whispers that seem to answer direct questions. Thermal cameras occasionally detect unexplained cold shapes moving through hallways where no visible person exists. Although none of these findings prove the existence of ghosts, they continue fueling the castle's terrifying reputation. Historians remind us that Dublin Castle witnessed centuries of political conflict, imprisonment, executions, and personal tragedy. Whether the reported hauntings result from supernatural forces, psychological suggestion, or the immense weight of history itself remains impossible to know. Yet one undeniable fact remains: generation after generation continues reporting remarkably similar experiences inside these ancient walls. As midnight settles over Dublin, the magnificent castle once again grows silent. Moonlight reflects across weathered stone, ancient towers cast long shadows over deserted courtyards, and the echoes of history seem to whisper through every corridor. Somewhere beyond the locked doors, perhaps a lonely woman still waits by a forgotten window. Perhaps a headless soldier continues his endless patrol. Or perhaps the spirits of Dublin Castle simply watch in silence, waiting for the next visitor brave enough to walk its haunted halls after dark. If you ever find yourself exploring Dublin Castle, pay close attention to the silence. Listen carefully to every distant footstep. Watch every empty doorway. Because in one of Ireland's oldest fortresses, history may not be the only thing waiting for you.